ทดสอบ1 2 3 4ทดสอบ1 2 3 4สวัสดีคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านนะครับเจอกันเป็นรอบที่2ของค่ำคืนวันนี้นะฮะเพราะว่าเรามีเอ่อไลฟ์พิเศษยังไงล่ะเฮ้ทำไมฉันปล่อยสัญญาณไปแล้วมันยังไม่มางั้นเหรอลงมาได้แล้วเซ่ฉันปล่อยสัญญาณมันออกไปแล้วนะไม่แน่ใจว่าทุกท่านจะได้ยินสัญญาณภาพและเสียงกันชัดเจนหรือเปล่านะครับถ้ามีปัญหาในการรับชมใดๆก็แจ้งให้ผมทราบนะครับผมอ๋อมาแล้วเพิ่งจะเห็นหน้าตัวเองคุณ Absolute สวัสดีครับนี่เราอยู่กันกับอีเวนต์ The Triple I Initiative นะฮะเดี๋ยวเรามารอดูงานสตรีมเกมอีกงานหนึ่ง ซึ่งน่าสนใจมากๆ เขาเป็นกลุ่มที่รวมตัวกันเรียกตัวเองว่าเกมอินดี้ชั้นหงสานะครับว่าเกมดีเกมเด่นกว่าชาวบ้านเขาอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเกมที่มาอยู่ในงานนี้ส่วนใหญ่ก็จะเป็นอินดี้ชั้นดีแหละผมเชื่อว่าณวันนี้เนี่ยเราน่าจะมีความตื่นตัวเนี่ยแล้วก็สนใจเกมอินดี้กันมากขึ้นแล้วในประเทศไทยนะเพราะฉะนั้นก็คิดว่าน่าจะเป็นโอกาสที่ดีนะที่เราจะมาพูดดูเกมอินดี้หน้าใหม่กันก็น่าจะมีเกมประกาศอะไรกันเยอะแยะด้วยนะครับผมเพราะฉะนั้นก็เดี๋ยวมาอยู่รับชมไปด้วยกันนะครับถ้ามีปัญหาอะไรอย่างใดก็แจ้งให้ทราบได้นะครับผมกำลังเช็คอยู่ว่าตัวตัวไลฟ์หลักของเขาเนี่ยมากันหรือยังนะครับเขาบอกว่าน่าจะเริ่มไลฟ์เนี่ย4 ทุ่ม 45อืมก็ต้องรอรอนะฮะมาแล้วเขาตั้งพรีเมียร์ไว้ทุกคนเอามารอดูว่ามันจะมีเกมอะไรที่น่าสนใจบ้างผมไม่รู้เลยนะผมไม่รู้เลยเพราะฉะนั้นก็มารอลุ้นไปด้วยกันนะครับดูมีความสยองขวัญแชทหลักมากเลยมันยังไงอะมันได้ยังไงยังไม่ทันเห็นอะไรกันเลยมันกันแล้วเหรอเอ้ย4 3 2 1ไปไอเวนไอเปรตเขาดาวต่อ ไอ้บ้าเอ้ยมันอย่างนี้นี่เอง Disclaimer we are so proud of this show that we ask our mom to watch it so please behave in the chat เข้าใจไหมโดนแล้วกูโดนทุกงานกูก็ไม่หลับไม่จำเขาบอกแล้วว่าเวลามันจะมา5 ทุ่มพวกมึงก็จะมากันก่อนทำไมเออนั่นแหละก็ช่วยปีที่แล้วก็เป็นปีที่แล้วก็เป็นใช่ครับใช่ครับเออถ้าระหว่างนี้15 นาทีผมจะมีอะไรสื่อสารกับพวกคุณดีนะไหนๆมาวันนี้เรามากันในธีมของเกมอินดี้ถูกต้องไหมครับมันมีเรื่องที่น่าเสียใจนิดหน่อยนะครับกับเอ่การตัดสินใจของ PlayStation Store นะครับ PlayStation Store เนี่ยมีการประกาศขึ้นราคาเกมไปถึงไม่ใช่ขึ้นราคาบริการ PS Plus ไม่ใช่ขึ้นบริการเกมขออภัยขึ้นค่าบริการ PS Plus ไปอีก 20%จากปีละ 3,500 กลายเป็นปีละ 4,300 ซึ่งแบบว่าหนักหนักมากจ่ายเป็นก้อนนี่หนักมาก ถ้าคิดออกมาเป็นเดือนยังพอแบบยังพอทำเนานะแต่พอคิดโอ้โหเป็นก้อนแล้วมัน4,000เท่าไหร่ไม่รู้อ่ะตกเดือนละ350 กว่าบาทอ่ะ ถ้าหารไป12 เดือนใช่ไหมใช่แหละ4,350หรืออะไรประมาณเนี้ยใครที่ยังไม่ได้ลังเลว่าจะต่อดีไหมนะถ้าคุณจะต่อนะครับต่อเสียเลยตอนนี้มันจะถูกกว่าสาเหตุที่ผมเท้าความไปหาไอ้เจ้าบริการตัวนี้เนี่ยเนื่องจากว่าเดือนนี้ PlayStation Plus มี1เกมที่น่าสนใจมันคือเกมนี้ Blue Prince Blue Prince นะครับถ้าผมฟังข่าวมาไม่ผิดเกมนี้คือเกมที่ได้รับคะแนนรีวิวสูงที่สุดจนถึงตอนนี้สำหรับปี 2025 ปีนี้นะครับก็คือนับตั้งแต่มกราเป็นต้นมาจนถึงตอนนี้เนี่ยเมษาเนี่ยบูปรินเป็นคะแนนที่ได้รับเป็นเกมที่ได้รับคะแนนรีวิวสูงที่สุดและมันแจกฟรีใน PlayStation Plus เดือนนี้ไม่แน่ใจว่า Xbox Game Pass ก็มีให้เล่นหรือเปล่าถ้าจำไม่ผิดเหมือนจะใช่นะเหมือนจะใช่ต้องเช็คคุณหนิงสวัสดีครับเพราะฉะนั้นตัวนี้เนี่ยเดี๋ยวถ้ามีเวลาผมจะมาลองเล่นกันจริงๆนี่ถ้าไม่เอ่อถ้าไม่ได้ติดว่ากำลังไลฟ์อยู่นะก็อยากจะไลฟ์เกมก็อยากจะเล่นเกมนี้ดูเหมือนกันนะเพราะอยากรู้ว่าแบบเกมมันดียังไงนะแต่ว่าพอดีว่ามันกำลังไลฟ์อยู่นะก็เดี๋ยวอีกแค่10 กว่านาทีเท่านั้นเองอีกแค่13-12 นาทีเท่านั้นเองเราก็จะเข้าสู่งานTriple I Initiative กันแล้วซึ่งเกมนี้เล่นไป10 นาทีผมคิดว่ายังไม่หนำใจเพราะฉะนั้นก็รอกันไปก่อนนะจ๊ะเดี๋ยวไว้ถ้ามีโอกาสจะเอาบูปริ้นมาเล่นให้ดูแล้วก็มีดีลเดลอะไรกันอีกหรือเปล่าเนี่ยมีเมื่อสักครู่นี้มีข้อมูลน่าสนใจนะครับคุณ DDT นะครับบอกว่าใครที่อยากต่ออายุ PlayStation Plus โดยเน้นอิงราคาเดิมเนี่ยให้ต่อก่อนวันที่16 เมษายนนี้นะต้องต่อก่อน16 เมษายนนี้นะจึงจะได้ราคาเดิมนะครับผมตอนนี้ผมเข้ามาใน PlayStation Store ให้ทุกคนดูมันมีสิ่งหนึ่งที่ผมเกลียดมากๆคือ Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition เนี่ย Ultimate Edition มันคือตัวเกมธรรมดากับ DLC Phantom Liberty ซึ่งกูก็มีทั้ง2 อย่างแล้วทำไมมันถึงไม่ขึ้น Purchase ให้กูผมไม่ชอบเลยผมรู้สึกแบบเป็น OCD มันไม่ขึ้น Purchase แล้วมันรู้สึกแบบกูมีครบแล้วทำไมมันไม่ขึ้น Purchase ให้กูวะอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนี่มี Resident Evil ซึ่ง3 ภาคนะครับ2 3 4ครับ Remake Trilogy ใครยังไม่ได้ซื้อนะฮะก็ไปซื้อซะก็ได้นะเกมเขาดีนะครับแต่นี่มันก็คงจะไม่ได้เกี่ยวกับอินดี้แล้วล่ะพวกนี้มันจะเป็นเกมลดราคาซึ่งผมชอบเปิด PlayStation Store มาดูเกมลดราคาอยู่บ่อยๆ ดูเป็นประจำซื้อหรือเปล่าก็อีกเรื่องหนึ่ง Autopsy นี่ก็อยากเล่นนะนี่ก็ถือว่าเป็นเกมอินดี้เหมือนกันนะมันจะเป็นเกี่ยวกับว่าคุณเล่นเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่พิสูจน์ศพผมเห็นมันลดราคา 20% แต่ในสตรีมราคาเท่าสตรีมเนี่ยลดมา 20% รู้สึกจะเท่าสตรีมแต่เวลาสตรีมมันเซลมันจะถูกกว่าแล้วเนี่ยคุณก็ต้องมาหาแบบสาเหตุการตายสภาพศพมันเป็นยังไงแล้วมาผสมกับเรื่องราวแบบสยองขวัญความหลอนของตัวคุณเองด้วยถือว่าน่าสนใจโคตรแต่ซื้อมาแล้วก็ไม่กล้าเล่นแต่อย่างใดนะก็เลยยังไม่ได้ซื้อนะครับคือผมเป็นคนกลัวผีนะก็เลยไม่กล้าซื้อนะกาวกันการเดียนอันนี้เป็นเกมที่ผมสนใจมากเพราะว่าลายเส้นถูกใจอันนี้จริงๆเป็นเกมภาคที่2แล้วนะครับภาคแรกมาก็เป็นการเดียนเหมือนกันเล่นเหมือน Castlevania อันนี้ก็คุณผมไม่รู้จะขายเกมนี้ยังไงอ่ะมันวิชวลมันขายตัวเองอยู่แล้ว อันนี้แต่ว่าราคาคือจริงๆด้วยความที่เดือนพฤษภาเนี่ย จริงๆเมษาก็มีของที่รออยู่เยอะเหมือนกันไอ้ Expedition 34 44อะไรเนี่ยนะไอ้34 24 36อะไรเนี่ยก็รออยู่นะครับ แล้วก็เดือนหน้ามีทั้ง Night Rain นะ Elden Ring Night Rain มีทั้ง Doom Eternal มี Lost อะไรของมันน่ะ Lost Soul Aside ป่ะก็เลยทำให้พวกเกมอินดี้นี่อาจจะต้องรอไปก่อนแต่ถ้าใครเล่นอยู่บนPC แล้วราคามันจับต้องได้ก็จัดไปนะเกมนี้ผมก็อยากเล่นประกอบหุ่นเมกะดูดีมาก Metal Bringer แบบประกอบหุ่นด้วยกราฟิกแบบ16บิตอยากได้อยู่เหมือนกันนะฮะมีอะไรอีกล่ะที่เป็นอินดี้อันนี้เกมปรุงยาของดิสนีย์เป็น Coffee Talk เวอร์ชั่นรวมไวไลท์เป็นคาเฟ่ที่รวมตัวละครตัวร้ายของดิสนีย์เข้ามาก็น่าเล่นดีนะจริงๆแล้วมันมีเรื่องที่น่าสนใจเกี่ยวกับ PlayStation Store นะคุณเข้าไปดูในแท็บ Pre-order นะครับเข้าไปดูในแท็บ Pre-order ของ PlayStation Store นะแล้วคุณเข้าไปดู View All นะมันจะลิสต์เรียงรายชื่อเกมสำหรับ Pre-order ตาม Sort by Selling ครับถ้าคุณดูที่ด้านขวาคุณเห็นไหม Sort by Selling มันจะเป็นตัวหนังสือตัวเล็กๆอยู่ข้างบน Forza Horizon 5 Sort by Selling หมายความว่าอะไร ลิสต์นี้ของ PlayStation ในหน้า Pre-order นะมันคือเกมที่ได้รับการจองสูงสุดครับอันดับหนึ่งคือ Forza Horizon นะลองมาเป็น Indiana Jones ครับแล้วก็เป็น Indiana Jones แพ็คพิเศษนะฮะแล้วก็ยังขยับไปก็ยังมี Forza อีกนะฮะแล้วขยับลงมาหน่อยก็จะเป็น Doom Dark Age คุณเห็นไหมฮะว่ามันยังไงนะฮะเกม Xbox ขายดีมากนะครับเกม Xbox ขายดีมากบนเครื่อง PlayStation นะอันดับ1 2 3เนี่ยไปจนถึง5เนี่ยเกมของ Xbox หมดเลยนะครับแล้วลงมาจากนั้น Doom ก็ต้องนับเป็นของ Xbox ด้วยนะที่จริงอยู่ใต้ร่มธงก็เลยรู้สึกว่าโอ้เกมเมอร์เราก็ชอบเล่นเกมไม่สนค่ายกันแหละจริงๆแล้วก็เล่นไปเถอะอย่าไปซีเรียสนักเลย แต่รู้สึกตอนจังหวะนี้นี่เรื่องเอ่อไม่รู้เรื่องกระแส Nintendo Switch 2ก็จะหมดไปหรือยังนะก็เห็นมีการตำหนิติเตียนว่ากล่าวกันอย่างต่อเนื่องนะถึงเวลาก็เล่นอยู่ดี เล่นอยู่ดีไม่ไหวเราก็จะดิ้นรนนะครับดิ้นรนหาทางกันจนไหวนั่นแหละสวัสดีคุณผู้ชมทั้ง40ท่านนะครับมันตลกตรงที่แฟน PlayStation รอเกมฝั่ง Xbox ทั้งที่เคยรอ Xbox ว่าไม่มีเกม ซึ่ง Xbox มันเล่นเกมอะไรอะอะไรอย่างเงี้ยใช่ป่ะแล้วจริงๆนะมันตั้งแต่ตอน Sea of Thieves แล้วนะครับ Sea of Thieves เป็นเกมที่ขายดีมากบนเครื่อง PlayStation นะขายดีสุดประจำเดือนพฤษภาคมปีที่แล้วอะไรอย่างเงี้ยคือเกม Xbox ก็ดีทั้งนั้นแหละครับเอาจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยเราก็ต้องมารอดูนะสำหรับผมในฐานะที่เป็นแฟน PlayStation ก็แค่อยากให้มันมีเกมเยอะๆนะอยากให้มันมีเกมเยอะๆอยากให้อินดี้มันลงเยอะๆแล้วก็ราคาให้มันดีๆสวยๆแค่นั้นเองเดี๋ยวเกมโชว์อินดี้วันนี้เหลือเวลาประมาณ6นาทีอย่างที่ทุกคนได้กำลังเห็นบนหน้าจอนะครับเราก็จะได้มาดูว่าอินดี้ล็อตใหม่เนี่ยจะมีอะไรน่าสนใจบ้างเดี๋ยวเรามารอดูกันผมว่าพักหลังโซนี่ไปพึ่งมิโฮโยเยอะเหมือนกันนะไม่ว่าจะเป็นแบบคือไปพึ่งเกมผมไม่รู้จะหาคำจำกัดความอะไรเพราะผมดูแล้วมันเหมือนกันไปหมดเลยอะไอฮงไคสตาร์เรียววูโตลิงเวฟเกนชินอิมแพคเซเลตโซนซีโร่เอ่อ Tower of Fantasy อะไรเงี้ยผมเข้าใจแหละว่ามันไม่ได้เป็นเกมมาจากค่ายเดียวกันนะมันก็ต่างคนต่างมากันประมาณนึงแต่ผมว่า PlayStation ก็ไปพึ่งพาเหล่านี้อยู่เยอะพอสมควรนะครับเกมแนวกาชาซึ่งผมยังไม่เข้าลัทธินะผมไม่ชอบกาชานะไม่ชอบอะไม่ชอบสกินแพงยังสู้นะคือ Marvel Rival เนี่ยก็ได้ค่าสกินผมไปเยอะพอสมควรนะผมยังสู้นะแต่กาชานี่แบบไม่สู้อะรู้สึกแบบทำใจไม่ได้ มีอะไรน่าเล่นอีกไหมฮะส่วนผมลาออกจากวงการไม่แตะเลยดีสุด อ้าวแล้วคุณเบิร์ตอาระเล่นอะไรอยู่ครับช่วงนี้มอนทันหรือเปล่ามอนทันซื้อตั้งแต่เดย์วันยังไม่มีปัญญาเปิดแม่งเลยยังไม่ได้เปิดเล่นเลยเนี่ยมอนทันเนี่ยผมนี่เล่นเซนเลตทุกวันครับนอกจากเติมรายเดือนผมก็ไม่จ่ายอย่างอื่นครับ แล้วเติมรายเดือนก็ไม่จ่ายแต่คุณเวมโซดี้ครับคุณเวมโซดี้ยังคงเป็นเมมเบอร์ช่องที่เหนียวแน่นชื่อเขียวมังกรจะบินได้อยู่แล้วขอบคุณคุณเวมโซดี้ที่ยังเมตตาช่องเล็กๆของผมอยู่นะฮะขอบคุณมากๆจริงๆนะขอบคุณเมมเบอร์ทุกท่านเลยนะครับที่ยังมีสีเขียวให้เราชื่นใจอยู่กันทุกวันนี้นะไม่ว่าจะเป็นคุณแอบสูตเอคุณฟาเฟียคุณสรัญญาคุณหนิงเนาะคุณเวมโซดี้นะฮะเนี่ยมากัน นิยาย Wind of Winter ของมาร์ตินเขียนจบแล้วเหรอครับก็ยังนะครับคือเห็นแกเพิ่งจะออกมาโพสต์เมื่อไม่กี่วันเหมือนว่าตอนแรกอะมันมีข่าวว่าเขียนเสร็จแล้วนะเสร็จแล้วเหมือนแกก็มาบอกว่ายังอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเอ่อเพราะฉะนั้นผมตีซะว่าน่าจะยังแกโปรเจกต์เยอะแกงานทำแวะเยอะอะแวะทำนู่นทำนี่เยอะไม่รู้เมื่อไหร่จะได้เขียนนะครับก็รอกันต่อไปอย่างมีความหวังไม่รอจะให้ทำอย่างไรล่ะคุณลูปัสบอกว่าพี่กู้หวังเกมอะไรเหรอครับนี่แหละคุณลูปัสนี่แหละคือเสน่ห์ของเกมอินดี้เพราะเกมอินดี้แม่งคือคุณจะไม่รู้เรื่องเลยไม่รู้เรื่องเลยว่ามันคืออะไรคาดเดาไม่ได้มันไม่ใช่ว่างานเขาเรียกว่างาน Press Con ของCapcom ที่คุณจะได้เห็น Resident Evil ภาคใหม่แล้วก็ไปMonster Hunter ภาคใหม่อะไรอย่างเงี้ยไม่ใช่คือถ้ามันเป็นซีรีส์ที่มันมีชื่อเสียงอยู่แล้วคุณจะคาดหวังได้ว่า Assassin's Creed ภาคใหม่เป็นยังไง Uncharted ภาคใหม่เป็นยังไง Last of Us ภาคใหม่เป็นยังไงอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแต่พอเป็นอินดี้แม่งคือแบบ กูไม่รู้เลยเนี่ย กูจะเจออะไร กูจะมานั่งดูอะไร มันจะดีมากๆ หรือมันอาจจะแย่แป๊กๆมันก็ไม่เจ็บไม่เดือดกระเป๋าตังค์มาก ในขณะที่เราโลกกำลังลุกเป็นไฟกับราคาเกมกำลังจะโดนดันบาร์ไป80 บาทเอ้ย80 บาท80 บาทคงไม่มีใครด่า80 เหรียญแต่โซนอินดี้อ่ะเราก็ยังวิ่งกันอยู่แถวแบบ20 เหรียญ30 เหรียญอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนึกออกปะ ผมว่ามันสบายกระเป๋ากว่ากันเยอะ แล้วเกมถ้าพูดถึงถ้าไม่ได้วาลูด้านวิชวลอะไรแบบเยอะๆที่มันต้องโปรดักชันคุณภาพสูงๆอ่ะอินดี้ก็สนุกมากมากมากมากมากเกินราคาด้วยจริงๆนะครับคุณเวมโซดี้บอกช่องคุณกู้มีคุณภาพขนาดนี้ผมจะทิ้งได้ยังไงกราบขอบพระคุณนะผมก็ขอบคุณทุกท่านมากๆจริงคุณดอนคุงสวัสดีนะฮะ เล่นเกมเก่าไปเรื่อยเปื่อยมอนทันก็ยังไม่เล่นครับไม่ชอบเวฟอันเดดอยากใส่ยับยาวๆทีเดียวเฮ้ยผมมีอะไรจะสารภาพเราเหลือเวลาแค่ประมาณ1 นาที1 นาทีก่อนที่โชว์เคสจริงจะมาผมเพิ่งทำอะไรสำเร็จไปเมื่อเมื่อเช้านี้เป็นสิ่งที่ค้างคาในใจผมมานานแล้วผมเพิ่งทำสำเร็จผมเพิ่งดูแอนิเมชัน Attack on Titan จนถึงตอนอวสานเมื่อเช้าเชี่ยมันสนุกมากถึงแม้ว่าผมจะหลับบ่อยมากระหว่างดูก็ตามแล้วผมก็ดูจนจบแล้วก็เฮ้เฮ้ทำไมมันมีตัวละครตัวเนี้ยมันหายไปไหนนะผมก็เลยเอ๊ะทำไมตัวละครตัวนี้มันหายไปไหนวะก็เลยไปไล่ดูตอนไล่ดูตอนเฮ้ย ตอน Attack on Titan บน Netflix ตอนไม่ครบตอนหายไป4 ตอนผมก็แบบไอ้เหี้ย what the fuck คืออะไรวะ4 ตอนนั้นมันมีอะไรมันเกิดอะไรขึ้นบ้างสรุปคือเขาเอาไปฉายหนังเมื่อเดือนกุมภาที่ผ่านมาเขาเอาไปเข้าโรงเดี๋ยวต้องไปกลับไปดูอีกทีตอนมันเอากลับเข้ามาใหม่อืมโอเคเรามาดูงานกันเถอะ brought to you by สตูดิโอเหล่านี้ just for you โดยเฉพาะไม่ใช่อะไรเดี๋ยวผมกะว่าจะทำไลฟ์คุยเรื่อง Attack on Titan ช่วยมา educate ผมหน่อยนะแฟนๆทุกคน sit down relax and enjoy เวอร์พี่เหมียวอ่ะอุ้ยอะไรอ่ะอุ้ยน่าเล่นจังเลยเริ่มมาก็สบายฟอร์มแบบเซเลสอ๋อจากทีมเซเลสซื้อเริ่มมาก็ซื้อเลยทีมเซเลสทำกูก็ซื้อแหละวะโอ้มีปาร์ตี้ด้วยซื้อสิครับรออะไรถูกต้อง Never way wish list now on Steam Never way จัดไป Deep Lock Galactic ไอคนแค่ขุดดาว DLC ตัวใหม่ใช่ไหม Disaster Piece คนทำเพลง Hyper Light Drifter โอ้โหคนทีมนั้นเพลงโหดอยู่เกมนั้นเพลงโหดผมไม่เคยเล่นจริงจังสักที Deep Lock ไม่มีตี้นะไว้เดี๋ยวมันเล่นกันดีกว่าไม่ได้เปิดเสียงคลิปเหรอครับอ๋อผมเปิดเบาไปนะขออภัยโรกคอว่ะเฮ้ย Deep Lock Galactic โรกคอโค้ดอัลฟามันเป็นภาคใหม่ดีอันเนี้ย Tears of Metal เชี่ยแค่ดู3 วีก็ซื้อแล้วอะสำเนียงสกอตมากโอ้โหนี่มันมูโซไอ้เชี่ยมูโซโลกไลท์อย่างนั้นเหรอOpen Beta Available now ไอ้ยา
You've got nowhere left to run.
Heresy isn't a myth or a bedtime yarn. It's real. It's dangerous. It's what we fight against.
The demons above, the beasts below.
อ๋อนี่มันให้ความ JRPG สมัยก่อน
You have everything it takes to really help Antioch.
What do you want us to do?
I won't lie to you. We're in a crisis.
That's life in the bishops. The apocalypse is always a couple of days away. You'll get used to it. Just remember that when you're a bishop and the difficult
อัน
choices
นี้ก็น่า
come,
เล่นภาพน่าสนใจมากคือเปิดมา4 เกมนี่กูโดนทุกเกม กูโดนทุกเกมเลยอะไรวะเนี่ย
Laws even gods cannot violate.
Secret File Secret Sacrifice ไม่ใช่ Secret File Sacrifice Endless Legends 2อันนี้ 4X ละเล่นไม่เป็นละ
I am many things. I have been many things. God, wanderer, but the names I have had are nothing compared to those I will soon earn. I carry a searing flame that has flickered yet never extinguished, and an iron mantra that cannot be broken. The waiting will soon be over.
Build your empire Lead disparate faction to victory ทรง Civilization ผมว่ามันเหมือน Hero ไม้แอนเมจิกแล้วก็ซิปด้วยมันเป็น Hexagon เหมือนกันนะ Early Access Summer ปีนี้นะจ๊ะ แต่ถ้าคนโดนเส้นก็ชอบแหละครับ ถ้าเป็น 4X อะนะ Fake Fish นี่เกมใหม่ ไม่เคยเห็นมาก่อน โบโรโทรมาเกม Survival แน่ๆเลยแนวไหนวะเนี่ยโคออปอะเป็นมัลติเพลเยอร์โคออปหาเชื้อเพลิงให้รถไฟแล่นไปโอ้โหโอ้โหแต่งบ้านแต่งรถไฟว่ะอ๋อบ้านเราคือรถไฟว่ะแล้วรถไฟก็แล่นไปเรื่อยๆแล้วเราก็เก็บทรัพยากรตามทางไปเรื่อยๆชี้มีแท้งด้วย Force Rail โดนเลยครับผมรออะไรอ่ะนี่มันมูนฮันเตอร์มูนคราฟเตอร์อะไรเนี่ยภาคใหม่เหรอภาค2มูนไลเตอร์มูนไลเตอร์2 มาซัมเมอร์ครับผมมูนไลเตอร์2 The Endless World Deformatic สร้างอาณานิคมดวงดาวเหรอ เฮ้ยมันเหมือนมินิมอเตอร์เวย์เลยอ่ะน่าเล่นดีนะไม่ใช่ละมีทรัพยากรเยอะเกิน Starbird อันนี้ไม่รู้เป็นไงแต่สนใจไว้ก่อนEscape Every puzzle for secret อะไรEvery door hides a secret ทำไมตีมมันมีทั้งอวกาศมีทั้งยุคกลางอะไรของมันวะเนี่ย Search Solve Escape เกมแนว Escape Room เหรอ ผมชอบนะ Escape Simulator 2 Free Demo Available now ด้วย อันนี้ดูเกมเป็นรถบ้านรถสร้างบ้านนะแล้วบรรยากาศเบาสบายน่ารักดีนะซ่อมรถไฟไม่หนำใจมาซ่อมรถตู้ก่อน เอาเบาเฮ้ยจะมีโค้ดอัลฟาด้วยนะวันที่14ว้าวนี่มันอะไรทำไมมีเครื่องร่อนด้วย Enshroud Trials of Twilight มันดูเหมือน MMO อ่ะEnshrouded โหถ้า MMO เล่นไม่เป็นอะ Timberborn ไอ้เหี้ยน่ารักว่ะ Beaver Engineering ไอ้เหี้ยหุ่นเกมอะไรกันวะเนี่ยแม่งคือ Sim City ดีๆอ่ะ Timberborn Beaver ไหมครับ Timberborn ฟิสิกส์น้ำเจ๋งมากเฮ้ยญี่ปุ่น Over 1 million copies sold อะไร DNF เหรอ ซื้อเลยไม่คิดเยอะ Entropy Effect ไอ้นี่มันมาจากเกมไฟติ้งนี่ Blaze Blue ป่ะ Couch Co-op Coming เผลอๆกูซื้อไปแล้วหรือเปล่าวะเนี่ยเฮ้ย X Dead Cell ว่ะผมว่าผมซื้อไปแล้วแน่เลย Entropy Effect
Pick up your camera. Show me what you truly see.
I need to head up that mountain.
Sikono
My home's up there.
That's not exactly walking distance.
Suisha Opus Prism Creek
Sorry for dragging you on this trip.
Well, I can't let a kid go up there alone.
They say I'm fading away.
เกมถ่ายรูป
If
งั้น
anyone
เหรอ
should be gone, it's failures like me.
ส่วนใหญ่เกมอันนี้
Not
จะเป็น
someone
แบ
with
บ
their whole life ahead.
เนื้อเรื่องอะนะครับ แนวสตอรี่ใช่
Every
ใช่
star up there is a flame.
If there's a god in the fire, would they see the moments that we capture?
จะบอกว่าแนวพวก
Even
เหมือน
the
แบบ
ones that show what's in our hearts.
Life is Strange อะไรแบบนั้นอะโอ้เพลงดีจังเลยวะ
Hey kiddo, when you make it back, I hope you grow up strong. Even when your best isn't enough, try to stay brave.
ใช่ใช่ใช่
If there's something you want to keep,
ผมอยากลองผมยัง
capture
ไม่
it
เคยลองแต่ผมอยาก
so
ล
it
อง
stays.
Blacksmith Master ไอแอสเซทตัวนี้นี่คนใช้กันหลายเกมเหลือเกินนะไอหน้าเหลี่ยมเนี่ย
You have all dreamed of peace, yet it was nothing more but an illusion. That is about to shatter.
ครับสวยจัด
Look at how you struggle.
สวยเกินอินดี้ไปมาก
So pathetic. So foolish.
อันนี้เผ่าที่3แล้วจากคนต้นไม้มาเป็นวัวกระทิง
Not even death
มีผีด้วย
can
อ่ะ
bring
Undead
you comfort.
นี่มึงวอลคราฟอ่ะเนี่ย
We will be your salvation. Don't resist your greatest desire. Embrace your
Hero
new master.
of Might and Magic อันนี้ก็เหมือน Deep Lock แต่เป็นแบบท็อปดาว อ๋อ Deep Rock Survivor อะไรเนี่ยถ้าจำไม่ผิด Deep Rock แนว Vampire Survivor Mushroom Deep Rock Galactic Survivor
Not too shabby.
Okay, let's go through all of this once again.
ไอเกมโคลนตัวเอง
We have
น่าเล่น
3
อยู่
days before the sun rises and burns everything to ash. And we're stuck in front of a giant river of lava. If we want to survive, we need to act now. We stick to the plan. You focus on researching a bridge to cross the river. I'll anchor it, fix the broken base modules, create radiation filters, gather resources, and Rapidium to create more alternative versions of ourselves. Are you sure they'll accept who they are? I can't worry about that right now. I need them to survive.
The Altar
Technician will help me fix the base. The miner can mine resources, while the botanist will provide food. We need more space to fit everyone. And besides, the miner has destructive tendencies, while the botanist is still in love with your ex-wife. The plan will work, okay? I'm heading outside. We still have places to explore. New things to discover. And dangers that I need to handle. Don't get yourself killed out there. This base needs you to operate. That's what I have my altars for. Work isn't everything. You can't ignore their personal needs. Sometimes I feel like everything here is personal. How's that bridge going? I'm working on it. The technology I need should be in the database somewhere. Oh, come on. We don't have forever. Actually, we only have 1 day. And right now, the botanist is calling your wife. Let me talk to her. The technician is inciting a rebellion, and the miner, he just hacked his arm off. This arm is yours, not mine. What about the goddamn bridge? Yes, about that. We can't build it. The technology I need, it only existed in my life path. Maybe in this life path. We might
จู
still
น
have some time.
13ว่ะถ้าซื้อบนคอนโซลนี่เรื่อง performance จะดีขึ้นไหมนะ Halfway there เปิดเกมรัวๆแบบนี้นี่ดีฮะไม่ต้องพูดเยอะปาเกมอันหน้ารัวๆ World Premiere เอ๊ะทำไมรู้สึกเหมือนเคยเห็นแล้วสปีดรันเนอร์2 3สปีดรันเนอร์2ปีหน้านู่น อ๋อบนสตรีมออกก่อนปี 2025
When the journey gets tough, who'll answer the call? There was a time when adventure called to something deeper in us. Over the hill beckons you back to those forgotten days when the journey itself was the destination. Find your grip as tires fight for precious traction on wild and untamed
นี่
paths.
เลย Truck
Where the earth
Simulator
welcomes you with its embrace, leaving its mark on metal and memory alike. In a world that's forgotten how to wander, find friends who share the same memories and the same desire to relive these moments of beautiful struggle once commonplace, now precious and rare. Crest each summit to glimpse vistas untouched by the hurried world below. Frame these moments like Polaroids from a simpler time. Take care of your machine like it's more than just metal and rubber, because out here, they have a soul. When a friend struggles, we don't leave them behind. We pause, we lend a winch, and we get through it together.
Over the hill Super Fantasy Kingdom
In a universe more than 10 years in the making, a universe of strange and alien worlds, and some that feel a little more familiar. Something big is about to happen. A living universe where you decide your fate. From exploring the stars to commanding fleets, from mining, trading, and warfare,
EVE
to
Online
building an empire that stands the test of time. And in a galaxy where power shifts, alliances matter. This summer, in X4 Foundations, the biggest single-player full universe simulation for PC is about to evolve. Diplomacy will finally be.
ไอเกมนี่มันทำมานานๆป่ะ
Over the years, more and more
ไอ
players
เกมนี่ทำออกมาเป็นโกรธปีชาติแล้วไม่เสร็จสักทีป่ะ
not just as a first-person space sim, but as a deep, strategic empire-building experience. We are very excited to today announce the X4 Diplomacy update for later this year. For the first time in the X series history, you will be able to negotiate, forge alliances, broker truce, and shape the fate of the universe. Not just through war, but through diplomacy. Will you seek peace, or power, or total dominance? The choice is finally
X4
yours.
Foundationเกมฟุตบอล Rematch Golden Rule ซื้อมานี่จะมีคนเล่นด้วยไหมนะเพิ่งมาที่เห็นทั้งหมดนี้คือเกมอินดี้ของค่ายใหญ่ใช่ไหมครับไม่ใช่คนทำ 1-2 คนผมไม่แน่ใจเรื่องจำนวนคนทำครับแต่มันเป็นอินดี้คัดเกรดนะดิจิทัลโชว์เคส
Dancing in darkness. I don't feel like doing this today. I just want to sit inside and play video games.
นี่ของสแควร์เหรอ ซาก้าฟันเทียเกมบอลแบบซีฟูใช่ไหมใช่ครับนี่มันตี้อะไรของมันวะเนี่ยตี้มันแปลกจังเลยนี่วันพายสไวเวอร์อีกแล้วเหรอตำนานบทนี้ยังไม่จบง่ายๆ
They call him Izirak. Ain't alive, but they
Ekuma.
ain't dead neither. Shadows, eyes burning like the devil's own fire. If you hear their whispers, run. They lurk in the dark, wander too deep, and you're theirs. Shh. Quiet now. They're close.
อิคุมะออกปีหน้านูนเนี่ยช้อปปี้อ่ะช้อปเปสเชฟอีซี่สตันล็อกสตูดิโอโอ้ดูดีนะวีไลซิ่งว่ะอัปเดตเหรอเชี่ยมันยังไม่จบโอ๊กวิล Invaders of Oakville โอ้ผมว่าแม่งดูทรงจะไม่จบง่ายๆแล้วล่ะมันจะไปเรื่อยๆแล้วนี่มันเกมอะไรกันเนี่ยเกมน่าจะออกมาสักพักแล้วมั้งมีอัปเดตนี่ next อะไรนี่ nexus
My star. Going back sounds tempting, doesn't it? if we're always looking back,
แล้วดูเกมนี้ดิแม่งอินดี้จริงเหรอวะ
we'll miss everything the present has for us.
อินดี้บรรทัดไหนเฮ้ย Kingdom Hearts อ๋อไอ้แค่ตกใจหมดนึกว่าจับเบไอ้คีย์เบลดไอ้เหี้ยด้ามเหมือนเชียวเฮ้ยดูดีอ่ะดัสเฟดซื้อครับผมว่าแม่งตั้งใจจะทำมาเป็น Kingdom Hearts นั่นแหละเอาจริงๆมันต้องได้แรงบันดาลใจมาแน่นอนโอ้เกมอะไรอ่ะไอ้ยาเดือดเชี่ยถ้ามันเป็นเกมแอคชั่นแบบนี้แล้วแบบมีริทึมเข้ามาเกี่ยวด้วยนะ Morbid Metal อันนี้ก็น่าโดนเหมือน Hi-Fi Rush อะไรเงี้ยผมว่าน่าดำมันดีนะโอ้วันนี้ก็อยากเล่น
作曲家なのにどうして音楽がないのかそれがまさに問題なんですまだ何も作ってないんですよこのゲームはとても複雑なテーマを扱っていて多くのアイデアが混ざり合っています正直少し迷子になってます
แม่งเหมือนคัพเฮด
I was in your shoes not long ago but then I remembered in the abyss of chaos you can always grab onto the strongest thing there is love events leading to the eternal life of Goldman are a tragic love story. So just try to imagine what a broken heart sounds like.
And wherever there's love, there's death. This game mixes ancient tales and legends with religious motifs. A bold ensemble that gives us a glimpse into the darkest corners of the human soul. Imagine the sound of a sinner's knees trembling before the last judgment.
ดูดีเกมดูดี
That's all well and good, kids, but let's not forget, the eternal life of Goldman is, first and foremost, a cutthroat video game. And what's music supposed to do in a cutthroat video game? Get the pulse going so hard in your temples, you have a stroke.
なるほどありがとうみんななんとなくつかめてきたよちょっとじゃあやってみましょうこんな雰囲気とかどうでしょ
う Eternal Life of Goldman โดนครับ
I've seen it, felt it. This fierce anger, ruthless curse. And I didn't protect her. If she's alive, we've got a chance.
Hey, I'll find her. You're alive. You're there. What the hell is this?
Engine มึงเอาอยู่จริงเหรอวะมึงประมวลผลโหดขนาดนี้แล้วดูไฟเอฟเฟกต์ไฟเอฟเฟกต์น้ำแม่งขนาดนี้ Into the Fire Early Access You like gambling Pay your debt Dealนี่แม่งเหมือนปาราโทรเวอร์ชั่นคุยกับจอมมัน Clover Pit
Let's go
เดโมเอาท์นาวด้วยโอ้
Fema, what's your emergency? On the street. Hello? Sir? I can't
Let's
hear
go
you.
gambling
Hello?
Into the Fire ที่ไม่ใช่เกมแต่เป็นการ์ดจอเชี่ยน่ากลัวจังเกมอะไรอ่ะ
Unmask the visitors before it's too late
เฮียเกมแม่งโคตรจะหลอน No I'm not a human เชี่ยน่ากลัวน่าเล่นนี่มันเกมเฮียอะไรครับเนี่ย เกมแม่งปั่นประสาทชิบหายเลยเฮ้นี่ค่ายใหญ่นี่Void Breaker Play Test Play Now ให้ความรู้สึกเหมือนไอเกมของ Sony ชื่ออะไรนะ Returnal แต่ว่าเป็น First Person น่าเล่นดีเฮ้ยคาตานะซีโร่ภาคใหม่ใช่ไหมอัสกิซอฟเย็ด ฮ้ยคาตานะซีโร่ภาค 2เอ้าเป็น DLC ว่ะ Still coming still free จริงดินี่จะฟรีเหรอเนี่ยจบงานแล้วครับจบงานแล้วต้องบอกว่างานเขาแน่นตึบของดีเยอะของดีเยอะDon't go anywhere yet. The show will go on exclusive gameplay behind the scene. โอ้มีต่ออีกงี้ใน Netflix เกมก็ได้อัปเดตด้วยไหมไม่แน่ใจครับแต่ผมซื้อไปรู้สึกจะซื้อใน Nintendo ไปมั้งใน PC ก็มีสนุกชอบตอนเล่นคาตานะซีโร่เชี่ยแม่งเท่แล้วเวลาเนี่ยดูเกมอย่างคาตานะซีโร่อะแม่งพอมันโดนใจคุณอะเห็นแค่ซิลเวตอะเห็นแค่ตัวละครดำๆอะไรก็ไม่รู้แบบแต่กูเห็นแง่งแบบด้ามดาบฝักดาบซามูไรยื่นออกมากูรู้เลยว่าแบบไอ้เหี้ยคาตานะซีโร่คือเกมพอมันสปีกกับเราแล้วแม่งก็มันส่งพลังขนาดนั้นอะฮะมีอีกเหรอวะอ๋อเกมเพลย์ให้ดูแล้วเนาะVoid Breaker behind the game.
I'm Daniel, solo game developer and creator of Void Breaker.
ทำคนเดียวเหรอ
You might know me from my previous work on the Entropy Center, but today I'm going to introduce my latest project, a high-intensity FPS roguelite that's all about destruction, momentum, and insane weapon modification systems.
You remain secure within the program.
I hope you enjoyed the trailer, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the game now. There is an open playtest on Steam right now if you want to give it a try.
โอเคเดี๋ยวจะ give it a try Run number 0อ๋อเป็นโลกไลท์เหรอ
I was a video editor turned cinematic artist turned indie game developer. This is my second game after releasing the Entropy Center at the end of 2022. But now it's time to kick it up a notch. This game is all about movement and high-octane visceral combat that rewards aggressive and skillful play. You'll be dashing, rail grinding, and sliding through the chaos, taking on waves of relentless AI foes. But before we go any further, let's talk about the chaos that is environmental destruction. One of the most exciting core mechanics of Void Breaker is its environmental destruction. I wanted to craft a game from the ground up that intertwined visceral destruction with intense FPS gameplay. Leveling buildings, blasting through walls, and wreaking havoc isn't just for show though, it's key to your survival. Hostiles that take enough destruction damage become staggered, providing an opening for attack. In this state, enemies are much weaker, and when taken down, they'll drop health and ammo, resources you'll need plenty of. You're equipped with multiple tools to wreak havoc on your enemies, such as an impact grenade, a quick and fast tool for destroying structures. You could destroy the supports of a building, trapping enemies inside for easy pickings, or how about destroying the floor that an enemy is stood on to give yourself a bit of breathing space. Next, the gravity tether, a powerful tool that allows you to manipulate objects in the environment, launching them towards hostiles. Throw explosive barrels, singling out a specific enemy. Or decimate entire buildings, staggering multiple enemies at once. The spaces in Voidbreaker are handcrafted sandboxes for you to maximize your destructive potential. Don't hold back, because the enemies sure as hell won't. Now, let's talk about one of the most exciting parts of the game, the weapon modification system. Modules are core to your arsenal, allowing you to create mechanically complex and diverse weapon combinations. Throughout the world, you will find a variety of modules which enhance your weaponry in many different ways. The system allows you to attach any variety of modules to your weapon to receive different and sometimes strange results. Projectile modules will physically alter the projectile you fire, as well as changing the look and feel of your weapon. Projectile modules use varying degrees of ammo, so you'll want to make sure you're collecting plenty from enemies. For example, Fire Shot will alter your weapon so that it produces fire, giving a chance to burn enemies. Blast Wave Charge can turn your shotgun into a multi-grenade launcher. Spark Breaker will fizzle into an array of sparks, taking damage over time. Next, you might come across Wall Ricochet, a type of weapon module that makes projectiles bounce off walls.
มึงจะใส่ระบบกี่อย่างเข้าไปวะ
Fully automatic module, which adds a fully automatic fire mode to your weapon. Finally, you find a homing modifier that makes projectiles gravitate towards nearby enemies. Suddenly, in just 4 modules, you've gone from a base pistol to a makeshift flamethrower. Let's try another. How about we start with the base shotgun? We find Impact Spread, a module that greatly increases hipfire damage, but also greatly decreases accuracy. Then we add Ice Wave Charge, a type of projectile module, making our shotgun shoot ice grenades. Then what if we found a Charged Shot module, a type of fire mode mod that requires you to hold the trigger down? And then let's say we found Volcanic Arc, which adds arcs of electricity between projectiles. Now we've got a strange shotgun that deals more damage the longer you hold the trigger, all whilst shooting ice grenades attached with webs of electricity. If it sounds crazy, it's because it is. Whether you are shooting fire-enhanced missiles, electric shockwave rounds, or ice orbs that freeze enemies in mid-air, the possibilities and combinations are endless, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. Eventually, your inventory space will begin to dwindle, so you'll have to use clever and strategic placement of invoker modules to open up more slots for your disposal. Repeaters are a special type of utility module that add additional repetitions to nominated slots. Remember that makeshift flamethrower from earlier? Well, Fire Shot will have a higher chance to burn enemies the more executions it has. Adding additional repeats to Wall Ricochet will increase the amount of times it can ricochet off a surface. So now, with a strategically placed setup, our makeshift flamethrower has become even more powerful. Each new weapon brings its own distinct playstyle and a unique inventory slot pattern, forcing you to adapt and experiment. A setup that works for one weapon might fall apart for another, so it's up to you to experiment and become a master of the module system.
เชียยังไม่จบยังมี passive และ ability.
Beyond weapons, there are a variety of other mods that drastically alter gameplay, granting you powerful abilities to utilize during combat. These could be tools such as time-slowing abilities, defensive barriers, and even explosive traps. One of my favorites is Ignite Launcher, that allows you to pick up lesser enemies with a gravity tether and throw them towards enemies. Or how about Burst Engine? This will make enemies that have an elemental effect applied explode on death, spreading the element to those nearby. Or maybe you come across Credit Rage, which will increase your damage relative to the amount of credits that you have. The richer you are, the harder you'll hit. And again, all of these can be stacked in interesting and unique ways. Let's also not forget Corrupted modules, an extremely rare module type that is glitched and corrupted by the program. I'll defer to you to find those and experiment for yourselves. The possibilities are endless, and your experimentation and adaptability will be key to your survival in the world of Voidbreaker. The simulation will continue to break you down and throw new enemies and anomalies that stand in your way. Tougher elementally infused enemies will directly counter some builds, so strategic and preemptive planning and adaptability will be key to your survival. You are able to hot switch between projectiles mid-combat, so whether you go all in on a certain build direction at risk of potentially being countered later in a run, or hoard a wide variety of modules giving you flexibility for any circumstance. The choice is totally up to you and your challenge to overcome.
Narrative มีเนื้อเรื่องด้วยเหรอ
Voidbreaker takes place in a corrupt simulation. Players will take on the role of a prisoner captured by Idris, a malevolent AI being, who's hell-bent on keeping you trapped within his perpetual testing algorithm. As you progress, you'll uncover more about this world, piecing together the mystery of its origins, and perhaps even a possible chance of escape. I looked towards the pitfalls of current AI technology, the way artificial intelligence generates images that feel uncanny and almost unnatural. That philosophy has been a key part of Voidbreaker's visual identity, creating a world that feels like it's generated by a rogue AI that's desperately trying to mimic reality, but leaving behind those little imperfections, a horizon of uncanny liminal spaces ready to be explored, and lurking within the unsettling creations of Idris,
คุณริกสวัสดีนะครับ
relentless, eerie
เกม
beings
แม่ง
with
ดี
only
เทล
one
เยอะมาก
direction to break you down.
อินดี้อย่างไรเออร์ลี่แบบใด
The world of Voidbreaker is random each time you enter, so your run-to-run experience will be fresh each time. There are secrets, new mods, and mysteries behind every corner. Find unexplored chasms, secret caves, and remnants of other inmates before you. And when you explore that secret cave, the program will not generate that area again in future runs, giving an RPG-like experience to the exploration. You'll come across obelisks, corruptors, stalls, strange elevators that take you to random locations, and many, many more, all potentially offering run-altering diversions. You are a prisoner of Idris, condemned to eternity within their perpetual testing algorithm. Escape isn't by choice, but a necessity. Before you lies a previous inmate, now corroded and minimized to a small piece of undying malware, a digital echo and unlikely ally. Discovering back rooms, hidden areas, and the guts of a simulation, you're able to chip away at a possible escape plan with their assistance. Begin to hack, manipulate, and subvert the program itself, gain access to hidden advantages, and arm yourself with experimental weaponry. What more you find behind those walls is a mystery I'll leave for you to unravel.
Indie แบบดันสุดครับ
Voidbreaker is releasing in 2025 to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. There is an open playtest on Steam right now if you want to give it a try. Please also join our Discord channel, share your thoughts, feedback, and your crazy builds. I'm looking forward to evolving the game and continuing to build it with the community. It's been an absolute pleasure to be part of a III showcase. That's everything for now, so stay tuned for more updates, and I hope you enjoy your time in the world of Voidbreaker.
Stubby game Metroid Prime 4 มีคู่แข่งแล้วเอาดีๆ Into the Fire มาดูหน่อยดิกูสงสัยเฟรมเรทมึงมากเลยเนี่ย Chapter 1
When we first started working on our game, we knew we wanted to create an experience that truly immerses players in the sheer power of nature. its raw beauty, but also its unforgiving side. The initial idea came from Fire of Love, a stunning documentary about a French volcanologist couple who dedicated their lives to studying active volcanoes. The film featured breathtaking, almost surreal footage of eruptions, glowing lava flows, and towering ash clouds. It was impossible to watch those phenomena without feeling a sense of awe and even fear. That was the spark. We started digging deeper into the subject and soon realized we didn't have to look far for the inspiration. Iceland, with its intense volcanic activity, became a treasure trove of ideas. We saw incredible potential in this motif, not just for creating a visually striking setting, but also for designing an experience that feels hypnotic and deeply emotional. Our research took us in many directions. We pored over scientific studies, explored mythology and folklore, revisited Werner Herzog's documentaries, reflected on our own travels, and even drew inspiration from classic disaster films of the 80s and the 90s. It was a process similar to what we did with The Invincible, where we immersed ourselves in a world of space exploration before building our vision. What fascinated us most about volcanoes, though, was how alien they feel. They belong to our planet, yet their peaks, their craters, the way they breathe fire and reshape landscape, it all feels otherworldly, almost as if they were a gateway to something beyond Earth. That profound sense of mystery and power is precisely what we set out to capture in our game.
เขาแปะ Not a Final
In our
Product อย่า
game,
เพิ่งดูเขา
we'll bring to life the experience of being a rescuer, thrust into the chaos of a disaster of an unprecedented intensity. Players will have to make split-second decisions, constantly balancing risk and survival while navigating an ever-changing environment to save lives. Every choice will carry weight, shaping the gameplay in meaningful ways, but this world will be much more than just fire and destruction. You will uncover a reality deeply intertwined with volcanoes, one that will transcend human understanding, blending myth, mystery, and forces beyond science. The gameplay we create will be incredibly immersive, at times almost hypnotic. The battle against the elements will unfold not only in raging fires and volcanic ash, but also within the hub, a refuge teeming with survivors and other living beings. Though the game will feature mechanics reminiscent of shooters, its goal will be entirely different. This won't be about elimination, but rescue. The player's arsenal will include unconventional tools,
ผมรู้สึกว่ามัน
such
เป็น
as
เกมที่
suppression
ดี
pistol, an extinguishing shotgun, and a firebomb
ปื
launcher.
นลูกซองดับไฟ ปืน
Will be just as crucial. An
ปืนพก
axe,
ดับ
a
ไฟ
hammer, or even a well-placed kick will clear paths and open access to critical areas. But survival won't be just about brute force. It will require planning. Seismograph readings will help predict dangers, while inventions like the fire extinguisher will buy precious time against the advancing threat. The right tools will be crucial and could mean the difference between life and death. The hub will be more than just a shelter. It will be the heart of your operations. It's where you'll provide refuge for those you save, gather information about missing persons, and uncover the island's secrets. You will expand the hub and embark on missions from there, selecting the disaster zones you want to visit and choosing the right gear for the challenges ahead. It will also be the place where you upgrade your equipment, preparing for the escalating dangers that await. Time will be a crucial resource. Just like water, it will constantly be slipping away. You won't be able to save everyone, but you will be able to buy precious seconds by finding smarter, faster ways to traverse the terrain. Mobility will be just as crucial as strategy. The game will offer diverse traversal mechanics. Rope equipment will expand movement options and help save the precious time that will be so vital in this world, while retro sleds will allow for rapid navigation across hazardous terrain. And Into the Fire, the true challenge will go beyond the raw fury of nature. Mysterious adversaries will also stand in your way, and soon you will learn more about the forces lurking in the shadows.
โหภารกิจดับภูเขาไฟเลยเหรอจะไปยันดับดวงอาทิตย์ด้วยไหมผมดูแล้วเขาจริงจังอ่ะ
Frank,
เขาคงไม่
the
ทำ
protagonist of
อะไร
our
เกา
game,
ๆแบบนั้น
is a man in his early
แต่ถ้า
30s,
ทำก็เท่
a
ดี
member of a research team with a deep fascination for nature, but a certain detachment from people. He arrived on the island to study an extinct volcanic range, expecting a quiet scientific expedition. However, a sudden natural disaster will shatter that peace, forcing him into a desperate fight for survival. As the disaster unfolds, Frank will have to confront not only the fierce forces of nature, but also his growing sense of responsibility toward the survivors. Set at the foot of an erupting volcano, Frank's journey will take him to the border of two worlds, the living and the dead, where the boundaries between them will blur in the shadows of eruptions. As he navigates this perilous landscape, He will encounter people with different life paths, each with their own beliefs, personalities, and views on survival. Some will be driven by scientific reasoning, others by faith, and some by sheer willpower. These characters, with their diverse backgrounds and contrasting approaches to life and death, will challenge Frank's understanding of the world.
Stay back.
มีเนื้อเรื่อง
Respectable.
ภาคเสียงซะด้วยนะ
All I can do is drink. Remember? You shouldn't have bothered saving me.
She seems to disagree. You can be of use today. Both of you can. That little one's not about to leave your side.
Throughout his journey, Frank will be forced to make difficult decisions, and the relationships he forms with the people he meets will shape his path. Some of those characters will stay with the player forever. Their stories will deeply move them, while others will lead them deeper into the fiery myths and legends of the island.
Hey, that's an Eagles jersey. You follow him?
Yes. Please help me.
They're aiming for the championship this season, right? Let's get you out of here. You don't want to miss the final.
As Frank gets to know himself better and realizes the power of his actions, he will begin to understand that his role in the survival of the victims of this disaster is much greater than he initially imagined. What will start as a scientific mission will become a profound test of his character, beliefs, and his place in a world on the brink of destruction.
The power's out. Without air conditioning and with the water we have, we'll last 3 days at most.
I'll take care of it.
Good. Death tends to lurk where the air's thick.
I know someone who might help. People just need to give him a chance, despite his past. I'm not much of a speaker, but I believe survival speaks for itself.
Don't forget, these are the people who built a city on the edge of hell.
We promise that many of their characters you encounter will be unforgettable. Their stories will influence your decisions and emotions, and they will guide you into the mysterious and mythological world of fire.
Billie Eilish มาสร้างเอง Fantastic Retro Mystic Music.
In our game, you'll get to use a variety of fantastical retro-inspired
แอบ
gadgets.
รู้สึกเหมือนกันว่า
The great
สาวเกม
example
นี้
of
แม่ง
this
น่าจะ
inventive tools
แจ่ม
is the sleds we've shown in our gameplay teaser trailer.
คุณดูอุปกร
These
ณ์มัน
unique
โตเขา
sleds
สิ
are designed to help you traverse the dangerous terrain.
เชื่อเค
But
รื่อง
it
บินแม่ง
doesn't
แจ๋ว
stop
อ่ะ
there. Our design takes inspiration from the groundbreaking inventions of volcanologists from the past. Both pioneers who, in their quest to explore volcanic landscapes, created ingenious devices like fireproof shields, specialized armor, and even boats designed to navigate rivers of acid. The retrofuturistic vibe is further enhanced by the music we compose, inspired by mystic beliefs. Our sound explorations are deep. We search for music across the world, listening to nature, fire, and sonic stories around the volcano. The key element is also the ritualistic sounds of indigenous people from the volcanic islands, which add an additional mysterious layer to the game's atmosphere. We use instruments native to regions of South America and Asia,
ไอ้เหี้ยเขา
primarily percussion,
รี
but
เสิร์ช
also
กัน
wind
จริง
instruments
จังจัด
like
อะ
flutes. The music in the game
คือ
evokes a
จะสร้าง
wide
เกม
range
และ
of
เกมมึง
emotions.
รีเสิร์ชกัน
But a
บ้า
very
เลือดขนาด
important
นี้
element for us is nostalgia, achieved through the effect of a wobbly tape and use of analog system for recording. One can also find inspirations from the psychedelic sounds of 70s rock. All this creates a blend of experiences and striking profound sensations. We're cooking up a hot feast for you.
Stay back!
He came down from the summit.
One day, I just got an email from Ichikawa-san
Vampire Survivor.
and I had no idea what to expect from this email. I didn't even know if it was authentic or not, basically. It contained a little gift
Romancing
animation
Saga.
the marketing team for the Saga team was working on that was depicting a very nice little game like Vampire Survivor, but with the Saga characters. And that was beautiful. And so we just started to talk about what we could do together, and now we're here, I guess. So I've always been very influenced by the Saga series when I make games or prototypes. For example, in Vampire Survivors, there are actually a couple of references to the Saga series that I wasn't expecting anyone to ever pick up. And instead, fans of Saga did pick them up and were very surprised and happy to see that there were other people out there who know what it is about the series. There is this feeling of power that comes from both games that I feel like it works as a bridge. That the world is just so rich of interesting characters, that the glimmers, that is such a big element of the whole Saga series that it just makes sense to try and replicate that feeling of
พูดถึง Vampire
surprise.
Survivor
But then
นี่มัน
going into the more specific things,
DLC
Saga
มัน
Emerald
กี่ตัวพวกเรา
Beyond. For example, you get Ameya, that's in Vampire Survivors, just like in Emerald Beyond. She can find new cats to take care of, and every time she picks up a cat, she becomes a little bit stronger. Learn to think outside of the box from playing games like the Saga series, where in every iteration of the series
เดี๋ยว
you
นะ
find complete different game mechanics. If you know Saga, then I'm sure you'll be
เยอะ
thrilled by knowing about this collaboration. And
ไอ
if you
DLC
don't,
ตัว
you
เนี้ย
should be
ที่
thrilled anyway at
ฟี
the
เจอริง
huge
กับ
amount of
ซาก้า
content
เนี่ย
that you will get from this
Emerald
collaboration and
Diorama
the
เนี่ย
chance
มัน
of
ออกแล้วนะครับ
discovering
แล้วก็
this
ฟรี
new
ด้วย
series.
นะครับ ฟรีด้วยตอนเนี้ย
Hi there. My
กด
name
รับไว้
is
ก่อนเลยแล้วกัน
I'm a journalist and I was invited by Moon Eye Studios here in the heart of Hamburg
Ekuma.
to look at their newest game Ekuma. So I would say, let's ask some questions. Ekuma is a narrative adventure set in the 1800s in the Arctic and looks quite fascinating to me.
DLC ฟรีทุกอันครับ จริงเหรอ
I'm
นี่
welcomed by
ผม
Tobias,
ดู
who
ใน
is
สโตร์
creative
มันอะไร
director of the game
75 บาทนะ DLC
Ekuma and one of the founders of Moon Eye Studios. I'm really looking forward to meeting him. Moin.
Hi. Nice to
Hi.
meet you. Hi. Yeah, come in.
Wonderful.
ลอสเอมเบอร์เหรอ อ๋อ ทีมทำลอสเอมเบอร์เหรอเนี่ยลอสเอมเบอร์ก็รูปสวยนะภาพวิชวลสวย
So what do you actually do in the game?
Yeah, so the core gameplay basically is still similar to Lost Ember, an exploration adventure. So it is based around exploring the world, finding its secrets, and yeah, following a story. Ekuma is more open world than Lost Ember, so the main part of the game is like an open world on this Arctic island, and you have to use not only different tools and instruments that you find on this island to just reach different areas, but also work together with your dog, and yeah, only together can you manage to survive on this island, either yeah, just alone and switching between these two, so you can freely switch between Sam and his dog Ellie, or as I mentioned in co-op, and you can play with a friend. And one
อ๋อ
person
เล่น
will
สลับเป็น
play
คน
Sam,
เป็นหมาได้
Ellie, and yeah, together you solve not really heavy puzzles but light environmental
อ๋อ
puzzles
เล่น
and
แบ่งหน้าจอ
progress the story.
แบบสปิดฟิกชั่นด้วย
Would you say it's a hard game or a comforting game?
I would say it's more of a comforting game. I mean, there are light survival aspects to it. You have to find food and shelter for warmth and stuff like that. But it's never super hard to do that. It's more a driving story element than really like a punishing hard game mechanic.
I find it's a very special and unusual game regarding the setting and the idea of it. How did you come up with it? What inspired you to make this game?
The initial inspiration came from a real-life historical event, the Franklin expedition of 1845. I don't know if you're familiar, but It was an Arctic expedition led by this famous explorer and started in the 1800s, as I said. They went out to find the Northwest Passage, like a way through the Arctic for trade. And they completely vanished. No one heard from them ever again. And it was basically a huge mystery for 150 years. And only in 2014 and in 2017 were the two ships found. And that's when we basically got invested in this story, when these ships were found, and immediately thought, okay, this would be like a cool setting for a game. And then it kind of developed from there.
So how did you stumble upon that historic expedition? Are you a history geek or?
Not really, I don't know. I think it was just a random article somewhere. And then, I read into it and found it fascinating.
And how do you go from, I find an article interesting, to let's develop a game and put money into it, time and energy?
I mean, that was a longer process, and we only started about 3 years after this initial, there is something. But after we finished Lost Ember in 2019, obviously we started talking about what we wanted to do next, and we had a list of, I don't know, 15 or 20 ideas, and this was one of them. And then, we just talked about which of these concepts we found most interesting, and I started going into more detail about this one, and then it just stuck with us, basically. It was just, we talked for a couple of months about, okay, what we want to do, and this would be the concept that we all could imagine a cool, bigger game around. So it just developed organically from that initial idea, I guess.
As you already mentioned, your game centers around the historic expedition as well as the cultural artifacts of the indigenous people. So I was wondering, how did your research for this game look like? Did you go into libraries, reading books a lot?
We read a lot of books about not only the historical events, the Franklin expedition, but also Inuit culture, Inuit people, and the mythology especially. So I would say the first year of development or concept finding was mostly just research and see what elements are there that we found interesting or fascinating, and we could weave into the story.
To me, Ekuma looks like a very dreamy game, a dream-like game, but it sounds like there is a darker side to it, to the actual game.
Yes, there is, certainly. But Ekuma, it's not like a dark game per se. It's still an emotional, just coming of age story, but sprinkled in are these darker elements and these dark images that you as the protagonist have to face, basically, and come to peace with. And exactly. So the overall positive story and nice and dreamy environment is sliced open by a couple of darker episodes. Exactly.
And I've heard beforehand that you found a way to bring your German roots into the game as well, which is quite surprising to me. How did you manage to do that?
Well, in just a very small way, but this Franklin expedition that I mentioned in Ekuma, you follow an expedition like that, and you are one of a team of people trying to look for a lost expedition. And in our game, it was not led by Franklin, but by Captain Humboldt, which is a famous German explorer. So,
why was that important to you? To sprinkle the German.
I don't know. I think it wasn't really important as such, but it was just a nice little touch to make it a little more personal.
เขาก็ใส่ซอฟต์พาวเวอร์เยอรมันเข้าไปนะ ใส่นักสำรวจชื่อดังชาวเยอรมันเข้าไป
Especially hard to make, I guess. I would say
เพราะว่าเขาเป็นคนเยอรมัน
would be these darker elements of the Inuit curse, and weaving that into a story that felt natural and organic and not too different, and not take you out of the main game too much. So finding a right balance of breathtaking, beautiful scenes and dark elements, and weaving that into a story that makes sense and felt natural. I'd say that was the one thing that we changed a lot and had to iterate on a lot. And this curse, what this curse is, that like changed, I don't know, 20 times probably, and just making that make sense. That was probably the hardest part.
Yeah, and on the other hand, which part was especially easy to make? Where you all could say, okay, let's do it that way. That will work. That's cool.
Probably just the decision that you have to have a dog as a companion. Like that was, it didn't initially start out as like a co-op
ครับ
game
ว่า
even,
ต้องมีน้องหมา
but that was a very early idea that we always thought, okay, especially after Lost Ember and making a game around a bunch of animals, we had to like include some kind of animals in this game as well. So pretty early on, we decided to add this dog companion and to make it a playable character, and even having it like a co-op option in the game. That was always the one thing that we said, okay, it has to be a story of a boy and a dog that together form a bond, basically.
Is there any connection to the fact that you do have a studio dog?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, really?
Well, we have up to 3 of the
ก็
dogs,
อยาก
I would say.
มีน้องหมาด้วย
Mostly just 1 or 2, but 3 of our team do have dogs, and I had a dog, a family dog, back when I lived with my mother. So we're all big dog people, and we of course had to include that.
Yeah. Speaking of making the game, you've mentioned before that you used special instruments for the soundtrack. Could you elaborate that?
Yeah, that is one thing that we found on the research of just Inuit culture. Music in general plays a big part in that culture and in like community gatherings. And one instrument that they use besides just drums and rhythmic elements is the tautirat, which is kind of like a kind of violin, I would say. And when we researched that, we stumbled upon a person who sells these instruments. So initially, we immediately bought one and just wanted to see what we could do with that. And our sound guy, who makes all the music and stuff for Ekuma and also the trailer, used that instrument, the tautirat, to make various like different sounds and layers and add this to the soundtrack to give it a kind of natural and more real feel.
So putting all things together, you told me your game feels quite like taking a risk because it's such a unique and uncommon game, such a unique setting. Does it feel like taking a risk?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, making a game is always a risk, I would say, but especially if you make a game for 5 years, or in the end it will be 6 years, and you put a lot of time and work and money in the end into it. It's always a risk, of course, and with this, like telling an emotional, personal story is always a kind of risk as well, because you don't know if it'll resonate with people, and if we can transport these emotions to people. So it's definitely a risk, and I hope it'll work out in the end. But that's why we were extremely nervous about this announcement and this like finally showing the world this is what we've been working on and this is what we've been pouring our hearts into. And I'm really nervous to see the reactions.
เขาให้เวลาเกมนี้นานมากเลยนะเนี่ย
What do you wish for people saying after they played your game? What would you like to stuck with them?
After they played our game, I think like the one idea that we want people just to take with them after the game is to believe in yourself. Like one core element of the story is that our protagonist Sam, he grew up an orphan on the streets of London, and he didn't really have any kind of self-esteem. He didn't feel like he was worth anything. And through the story and through the companions he meets on the way, he starts to believe in himself and believe he can have an actual future with someone and find love even. So that's the core driving story element, I would say. Just believe in yourself.
A question I was wondering all the time while I was traveling to your studio, how did you guys actually meet? The guys of the studio?
Well, we met in university, where we studied game development, Games Master Program here in Hamburg. And
เจอกันที่ฮัม
first
บูร์ก
project, Lost Ember, started out as our
เรียนอยู่
final
เป็นนัก
project from university.
นักเรียนมหาลัยเหมือนกัน
While we developed it, we realized, okay, we have something here, and founded the company around that, basically.
Yeah. Have you always wanted to be or to become a developer? What inspired you to pursue that career?
Yeah, it kind of always was my dream job as a child. So when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something like that, I already had this goal of, okay, someday I will make my own games and create my own worlds, and I just never stopped pursuing that.
What exactly happened when you were 10 or 11 years old, so that you thought, okay, that's my career, that's I want to become?
I think the project that really started it was Zelda Ocarina of Time. That was my all-time favorite game as a kid, and I just wanted to create worlds like that, basically.
So how did your way into the industry look like? Did you already
อยากจะ
mentioned that you
สร้าง
studied
เกม
here
แบบ
in Hamburg?
Ocarina of Time
When did
โอ้
you
โห
start studying, and when did you finish your studies?
I started with the just computer science studies in 2010 it was, for the bachelor, and then I already specialized. You could choose different paths in the program, exactly, and I already started choosing all the game related options, and then they had this game development master's program to really focus on games and not all the other computer science stuff. And then that started in 2014, and that's when I met the other guys, and we founded Moon Eye.
Yeah, and you published your first game, Lost Ember, in 2019, which became an award-winning and best-selling game. And here's a tricky question for you. I was already wondering also while I was on my way here, despite the fact that it was such a hit, your first game, did you make any mistakes along the way while developing that game, which you now said, okay, let's not do this again. Let's try to learn from these mistakes for developing your new game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we certainly made a lot of mistakes, and I guess that's unavoidable developing games, and I probably would say we have made a lot of other mistakes with this new game, but there were a lot of things that we set out to not do again with the next game, and for example, just the reason why we started marketing this game so late this time. With Lost Ember, we started basically from the first day on. We posted concept art and whatever on socials, but the game changed a lot over time, and the initial art style wasn't the final one, and the initial characters didn't end up in the game, and still, even after release, we saw a lot of press articles and posts using the very old art with the wrong characters. So that was one thing that we said, okay, this time we only start really marketing the game when we know how it'll look like.
Yeah.
And yeah, what else? I mean, when you develop a game for that long, like with Ekuma, as well as Lost Ember, we already have been working for 5 years on that.
โอ้โห
and
ทำมา5 ปีแล้ว
things change a lot, and the game that Ekuma is now probably is very different from the initial concept and the initial idea. So yeah, but this time I think the thing that we did better this time was just that we were aware of these changes to come, and we weren't afraid to just say, okay, let's just cut this and try it another way, because last time we tried to cling to certain elements for too long, and
yeah. So your game is scheduled for 2026. What's left to do?
What's left to do? A lot of stuff. I mean, what we have at the moment is the world does exist. The world is there, and I would say the first The first act of the game is pretty much done, and the second act, this main part, is a lot of content is there, but a lot of content, and especially story content like the dialogue, the cutscenes, and stuff like that is still missing. And same with the third act, which is shorter, but still a lot of the actual content is there in pieces and elements, but not put together yet. So we have about a year left to do that and to put everything together, and then obviously test everything and hopefully not have too many bugs in it, but just fleshing out this content and putting it together, that's left to do.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any last words for the viewers out there?
Any last words?
You want them to know?
Last word.
To say to them, that's your chance now.
Well, I suppose, of course, if you like the game, you like what you saw, you can wishlist the game now on Steam, and you should also be able to wishlist on PlayStation. Follow us on whatever socials, TikTok, Blue Sky, or whatever. If you want to keep up with the game and the development, we will regularly post updates of the game. And if you have a dog, pet it for me.
Yeah.
Top, oder?
กูเกือบลืมแล้วว่ากูดู Triple I อยู่เนี่ย โอ้โห ให้เวลาแบบ
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post show for the Triple I Showcase. We are Ghost Ship Games, and we're going to do a little bit of a segment here on Rogue Core. I'm Aaron Hathaway, Marketing Manager at Ghost Ship Games. With me is Mikkel and Mike. Who are you guys, and what do you do? Mike first.
Yeah, so I'm Mike, and I am the lead game designer on Rogue Core.
Yeah, and my name is Mikkel, and I am game director on Rogue Core.
So, at this time, we have just premiered the first gameplay trailer for Rogue Core. And so we've recorded this segment to follow it up for you. We'll just give you some general details about Rogue Core if you're just hearing about it now. And then afterwards, if you've been following along, you probably saw that we mentioned the closed alpha. So we'll come with details on that after. But first of all, for somebody who's maybe just tuning in and they're just hearing about Rogue Core, and they don't know what it is, what is it?
So maybe I should start?
Go for it.
So the setting of Rogue Core is that the mining corporation, Deep Rock Galactic, they have discovered this super precious mineral called Ekuma at the core of planet Hoxus. And they have established mining facilities down there. And then in an event called the Greyout, they have lost all contact with the mining facilities. And then they have called in an elite unit of dwarves, special elite unit, called the Reclaimers. And the Reclaimers are sort of like called for when Deep Rock Galactic has problems that they need fixing for. And so you play as one of the Reclaimers, and you are sent into Hoxus to reclaim mining facilities that has been lost.
Gotcha. And what kind of a game is it? Genre-wise, is it action? Is it role play? Is it romance? What are we doing?
Well, it's a cooperative shooter, and it is set up as a roguelite. I mean, there you go.
All right.
I think I can add here that one of the things that we are trying to do with our take on the roguelite genre is that we really want to enforce the co-op, like co-op first, in how we are playing how you're leveling up, how you're upgrading, how you're playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, just to take the further, like every aspect of it.
I think it can be said really simple. Like in many roguelikes, you are really concerned about making a build for yourself. In Rogue Core, you are concerned about making the best builds for your team. So it's all about generating the best synergies and making the strongest team, not making you the strongest individual. So the way you do it is you collect this precious mineral called Ekuma. And you stuff it into your new drone, which is called Ellis. And Ellis, when she's a remote Ekuma processing drone, a RFD, an IBD, and when she has enough Ekuma, she will actually give the team an upgrade. So the game flow is you go through multiple levels, deeper and deeper in a mining facility in order to claim it. and on each stage, you will try to maximize your power output by collecting Expanite through various events and by mining. And then you will increase your power level, and then hopefully you will be powerful enough as you go deeper and face bigger threats.
Mike, it says in my notes that the concept for the game was based off a hallucination you had after taking a pill at Burning Man. Can you say more about that?
Yeah,
I have never been to Burning Man.
That's what it says in my notes, Mike. I'm just Josh.
No. That was long ago and not true.
So we've got this playtest announced. The trailer came out at the end of it. You've got the closed alpha coming soon. And this is something that people have been excited about since we revealed Rogue Core for, a year ago. So maybe we'll start getting into that and giving some details and setting some expectations for what this closed alpha is and isn't, how it'll work. So maybe can we just start? Can you talk a little bit more about what you have in mind for how this closed alpha is going to work? Like when people can expect to sign up?
I mean, the sign-ups should be running right now as we speak, right? The trailer has been running, so you should be able to go to Steam and sign up for the closed alpha.
Okay.
But I think, like in terms of the context of it, so where we're coming from, for anybody who doesn't know, we are Ghost Ship Games, and we are the developers of a game called Deep Rock Galactic. And the process of developing this game has been very special for us, and I think also for a lot of members of our community, where we are doing this, what we've been calling open development, or whatever titles you want to put on it. But the point is that we are developing the game together with the community. There's a lot of this back and forth iterations where all the way from the beginning, players had access to earlier rough versions of the game.
Of Deep Rock Galactic.
Of Deep Rock Galactic, exactly. And we are planning to have a very similar process with Rogue Core. We are, of course, trying to still figure out, because, the times have changed. We're a different company, and this is a new game. And also the audience is a bit different. But still, so in that sense, this closed alpha is us launching this open development process for Rogue Core. So this is us inviting players who are interested in seeing what it is that we are making. So this is not kind of something that we're not trying to show like, hey, come look at what we've done. It's instead, it is an invitation to come and look at what we're making, come be part of it. And the game is going to change and grow and kind of like morph as this process goes.
Yeah.
And it also means that when we start inviting people into the closed alpha, it is not going to be sort of like, now it's ready. Now there is like a finished closed alpha version of the game you can go and test, right? We are going to let a bunch of people in, and then they will test and we'll get some reactions and feedback on what they're experiencing with Rogue Core. And then we will continue developing, making updates to Rogue Core, invite more people in, and vice versa, right? And then the game will develop like that. But that also means that when people are coming into Rogue Core for the first time, it will probably be rough around the edges, right? It is not going to be polished. That's not where we are with the game.
Not at all.
And I think that people should not compare our closed alpha to other closed alphas that they have experienced, right? Because this is a closed alpha leading up to an early access.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just to set the stage of how early we feel we are in the process of developing Rogue Core.
Yeah. So this isn't like this is 90% done. We just got finishing touches. This is like we're working on it. We're figuring this out. Come and test it. If this is broken or weird, let us know.
Yeah, 100%.
What was it about? Mike, you mentioned earlier with Deep Rock and starting an early access there. What did you get out of that made you want to do this again with Rogue Core?
I think, and the thing, just to clarify, the thing I'm talking about is not even early access. It's before early access, right? And Rogue Core, like Deep Rock Galactic, is going to be going into early access first before going to 1.0. Going to go through the process. But even before that, it's kind of this thing that, we have an idea, we have a vision for what a game can be. And then as we are making it and our process is very iterative, right? It is instead also inviting players into that process. So it's not just ourselves playing our game and kind of making it as it is, but it is also us seeing how people play the stuff that we're working on in its very rough states, because that is also where we are the most empowered to make changes, the most empowered to actually improve designs and really kind of like craft the game in a way that kind of matches not only our vision, but also matches as well as possible the way players end up playing it.
Yeah. What about, I mean, in the timeline of Rogue Core's development, why do the closed alpha now? Why not earlier? Why not later?
So, I mean, I'm a strong believer that we need to do this
Yeah.
before we're comfortable doing it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it really, I mean, it is like if we were comfortably opening up and let people in,
that would be too late.
We would not honestly be saying that we wanted feedback that we could actually utilize in the game development of Rogue Core, right? So that is why we're doing it now. We're doing it when we still feel that it is risky and we don't have all the answers and the game is still under development, because we honestly want the feedback from the community. We honestly want to have a journey together with our audience in developing Rogue Core.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mike, earlier you mentioned that this closed alpha sort of marks us going into open development with Rogue Core. Can you talk a little bit more about what that's going to entail, what people can expect when you, I mean, if you're not super tuned into game development or whatever, when you say open development, what does that mean? What more, or what are we doing differently? What's coming out of Ghost Ship then?
Sure. So I think, and I don't know how other companies approach this, so I don't want to speak for the industry as a whole, but for us, what this means is that we start, we have a build of the game. We work on it, and I mean, this is our process already now, right? Where we work for a few weeks, we create a build of the game that has maybe some new features that we want to try out, or something we want to get in, a new enemy, stuff like that. We do it, and then we play it ourselves here internally at Ghost Ship Games. We talk about then like, what we experienced, what we like, and then we make plans based on that. Again, kind of like Mikkel was saying, we do not have this like super planned out roadmap thing going on. It's instead like, key points that we're trying to hit as we go along. And then with the open development, the main thing that is changing here is how many people get to try out the things that we are working on. So the process wouldn't completely change. The idea here would be that we work on the game, we have a build, then that build goes out to the people that have access to the closed alpha at that time, right? And then they get to play, we get to see how they talk, we get to play with them. For example, for us, very interesting are like the conversations that people have.
มันก็คือ buzzword ชนิดหนึ่งเลยนะ open development ก็คือเปิดให้คนเล่นไปพัฒนาไปแก้ไป
getting requests from players and then trying to like make a task list based on that. It is instead to kind of like see how people are playing our game.
ก็ต้องเป็นเดฟที่มีประสบการณ์ประมาณหนึ่งนะกับเงินถุงเงินถังด้วย
we would go through this process, and based on that, it would influence what we are going to be working on next. Then again, we're going to work some more. At some point, we're again going to be in a state where we are ready to have players play the game. And again, we're going to see, okay, now we've made all these things, give it a try. Let's see how that works.
We're not going to let in everyone when we start having the closed alpha run. We're going to let in a bunch of people. We're going to test.
น่าจะต้องใช้ trust กับผู้เล่นในระดับหนึ่งด้วย ก็ถ้าผู้เล่นคอมเมนต์อะไรแล้วคัดกรองไม่เป็นมันก็จะลำบาก
Okay. So that is to say, if when we run this closed alpha, if you see a big block of people talking about, oh, I got in, and you haven't got in, don't worry, that doesn't mean that we singled you out and said you don't get it. We're just going a few people or some block at a time. And I guess that's also a bigger logistics thing, because like you said, when Deep Rock was an early play test, it was like, oh, sweet, a dozen people want to do this. And now, hopefully, Rogue Core gets some thousands, tens of thousands, who knows? But
we'll see.
Hopefully more, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it seems like also what I'm hearing is how exactly we run it and how many how many people get let in and at what interval kind of depends on, are we talking 30,000 people or 300,000 people interested in playing?
It's also a matter of us actually being able to manage the feedback that we get.
Exactly.
And so if we let, I don't know, 500,000 people in at once, it's like, we are going to miss everything, right? I mean, it's going to be impossible for us to follow the discussions and the feedback, so.
Yeah. I also just want to say, I mean, for this process, we're not following some sort of formula.
No.
I mean, so we are also figuring out exactly what is going to work best for us and for Roadcore and for this development process. So, I mean, how many people we let in, that's going to change depending on like our experiences and also what we need. And so again, like we don't know exactly how this is going to go. This is something that we're also going to be figuring out as we go.
Cool. And in looking at sort of the fundamentals of how Roadcore works, I think also what's interesting, especially going into this closed alpha, is thinking about the large majority of people going into this will be Deep Rock fans. And of course you go in with Deep Rock as your frame of reference for what to expect from this, for what you know, for what you like. And I guess I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on sort of the, I guess, expectations management, or sort of the feeling of knowing like that we're going into something that is, yeah, inspired by Deep Rock, but also in a ton of ways like really different. And what are your thoughts or feelings on, I guess, knowing that there will be people going in and saying, oh shoot, this isn't what I ordered, or like this is so different. What's the sort of, how do you guys feel or manage those expectations?
I don't know how we manage them, but they are there, and they are not. I mean, you shouldn't come into Roadcore expecting to play Deep Rock Galactic 2 or something like that. If we are doing stuff that is drastically different from Deep Rock Galactic, and hopefully people who play Deep Rock Galactic will also appreciate getting a different kind of game experience when they play Roadcore, right? And we have that feeling that, well, if you want the Deep Rock Galactic experience, well, go and play Deep Rock, right? I mean, and now we are making a Roadcore, which is different. It has a different feeling. It has a different vibe than Deep Rock Galactic, right? So I don't know. People need to follow it, and then they need to set their own expectation. But they're not going to get Deep Rock Galactic. They're going to get a game that takes place in the same universe, but it is going to be different.
In terms of those
มันจะกลายเป็นว่าทีมงานกังวลเลยว่าฉันจะทำเกมแนวอื่นไม่ได้แล้วลูกค้าจะสับสนว่านี่มันเกมแนวไหนกันแน่
weaponry, enemies, physical setting.
For me, perhaps the single most exciting thing is this whole co-op power building aspect. This thing that as you do as a team, it is really kind of like one of the cornerstones of Roadcore, and I'm very, very excited to see how players actually start working with the system, how they start working with each other, and yeah, how that's going to work.
It is challenging, and it is going to be challenging for players, right? Because suddenly you are not just sitting there and minding your own business, and you need to. I mean, you need to be happy if your teammate gets the good upgrade.
Yeah, I think like one of the kind of things that will help with this, and that I think that we need to work towards, is to kind of foster this mentality in the players that the goal is the completion of the mission, and not just making yourself as powerful as you can or getting what you want, but it is instead like, what do we need to do to complete the mission, right? That is the goal, and that is something that then the players can kind of like have as a shared goal.
Now, we should probably wrap it up, but before we go, if there's anything people take away from this, what should folks know? If you're just hearing about Roadcore, or if you've been excited for it for a while and you want to get involved with this close alpha, where do you go? What do you do? What should you know?
So go to the Steam page, or go to Steam and search for Roadcore or stuff like that. There you can sign up for the closed alpha. There you can follow the game to get our beautiful newsletter written by Aaron Hathaway himself.
Oh, Mike.
And there you can also, of course, wishlist the game as well. You can go to our Discord, It is the same Discord as Deeper Galactic. The two games share a Discord because we expect them to share a community and all that stuff. There is a Rollcore like a part of the Discord. You can also, if you're into Reddit, there is a subreddit. It is a separate one. It is called Rollcore.
Yeah.
I think that will get you pretty much everything you need.
I don't think.
You can send us physical mail as well. Our address is on our website.
Yeah.
If that's
Aaron reads it, and then
I do read them.
then he makes us read it.
We might send you a postcard.
I just want to say as a final note, maybe, that, I mean, obviously Rollcore will still have Rock and Stone.
Yes.
So, yes, the Reclaimers are still honoring Rock and Stone. So,
that's great to hear.
Yeah, just if we were wondering.
Well, that'll do it for this time. And just want to say on behalf of all of us at Ghost Ship Games, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a lovely Triple I showcase experience. And we'll see you soon on the internet talking to you about computer games.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Rocco น่าเล่นอยู่
Over the Hill is an off-road adventure driving game inspired by, well, let's find out, because today I'm going to be playing this game alongside some of the key people, these key individuals that have created this upcoming title. My name is John from Traction GG, and joining me today we have Jun Kasu, the Fun Selector creator, and also we have the CEO of Strelka Games, Pietro De Grandi. Gents, how are you getting on?
All good. Excited to be here.
Thanks for having me on, John. I'm excited to be here.
I've been looking
ผมดูทรงแล้วมันก็จะเป็นเล่นเกมไปเรื่อยๆแล้วครับซึ่งก็ดีนะก็ได้ดูกันนานๆเลยเพราะว่ามันจะไปเรื่อยๆผมไม่รู้ว่ามันจะนานไปเท่าไหร่แต่ว่าตอนนี้คือผมต้องไปแล้วเพราะว่ามันกำลังจะตีหนึ่งนะทุกคนก็ถือว่าเป็นงานที่สนุกมากๆแล้วก็มีเกมที่ถูกใจเยอะมากเลยยังไงก็ตามคิดว่าน่าจะให้มือตัดต่อของผมเขาไปตัดมาแล้วกันว่าผมอยากเล่นเกมอะไรบ้างนะโอเคสำหรับคืนนี้ต้องลาไปก่อนนะฮะเพราะว่าเดี๋ยวพรุ่งนี้ผมต้องมีงานต่อก็ส่งทุกคนไปนอนฝันดีราตรีสวัสดิ์ถ้าใครอยากจะอยู่ดูต่อก็ฝากด้วยนะส่งไม้ต่อให้ทุกท่านต่อไปละไว้เจอกันนะครับบ๊ายบาย